everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Olivia. How are you all doing? If you remember a while ago, I did a video sharing with you a few techniques on how you can cover the black line art in your coloring book so you can achieve like a painting looking. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, these are the black line arts that in coloring in the adult coloring book that you often see. Sometimes there is books that use like a brown or really light gray line art, but most of them they use the artists try to use the black line art so everyone can see it clearly. So I will show you how you can achieve the no line art look, like how I did these diamonds. I did try experiment with different techniques based on the techniques that I use from my first video that I show you guys. If you recall, I did say that gouache is one of my favorite way to cover the black line art, and after that I realized that not everyone is good with using the the gouache, because you need really good hand control and you need to have to sort of used to using the brush, because all the line art is very thin and tiny. So as you can see here, I have one side is the Inktense pencil and one side is the watercolor pencil. I will show you a little experiment and you will understand why and how I come up with this technique. So as you can see, here is a Derwent Inktense pencil. I think it's a gray medium. Everybody should have own at least a small set of them. It's great to use in adult coloring, especially for people that have a hand that pain in your hand when you colors for a long time. And here is a Unibold Signo gel pen. If you again remember from my first video when I did make about the covering line art, you know that Unibold Signo gel pen is definitely not one of my favorite way to do this technique. So here I'm going to apply the Derwent Inktense down first, and one side is Derwent Inktense and the other side is the watercolor based pencils. So you can use any watercolor pencil, but here I'm going to use the Durer Faber Castel watercolor pencil, and I use black because obviously it resemble the black line art, and I'm going to activate it. So if you see the diagram, you can see here's a Posca option. This is we're going to experiment with Prismacolor, Polychromos, and soft pastel. So there is Posca and white gel pen options as well. So I will show you different way so you can pick out your favorite way. And let me tell you, say ahead that all of the technique that experiment here is all work, but they all have cons and pros. And now as you can see, I'm going to apply the Posca onto this circle, and the Posca I'm using is just a white uni Posca, and I like to use the 0.7 milliliter point the tip because it's tiny. You can get precise with when you covering the light. And I'm going to also apply the gel pen as well. So on the left side here that we are going to do is the base is the Derwent Inktense, the black Derwent Inktense, and on the right column, the right side column is the base is the using the Durer watercolors, also in black pencils, black colors as well. And the top half is a Posca. And for the Posca, I found that if you leave, the longer you left them dry, so if here in this video I left them dry for like about 30 minutes, and I will show you how you can go on with the Prismacolor Polychromos. So here I'm using the Prismacolor first, and I particularly pick a light color. And the one thing to pay attention is when you do this technique, try not to get your pencil sharp, because it will be easy to scratch off the layer of the Posca. And a little bit dull tip will work well. And as you can see, the Prismacolor, the light Prismacolor, go on absolutely amazing on top of the Posca. And trust me, you don't have to go, you have to go light, but you don't have to be so careful. Usually if you use just the Posca to cover straight away with the black light art, it will scratch out quite easily. But in this case, you can see it cover the white, it transfer the white, and there is no not really any residue scratch off or anything. So I think it's work great. And for the soft pastel technique, again, I use the Q-tip, but I try to flatten the top bit, because some of them is like quite pointy, you know, and you don't want anything kind of sharp to scratch off your Posca layer. And as you can see, it does work. The light pink not quite go on nicely as I thought it would, because you know we have the Prismacolor and the Polychromos, and they both go on quite nicely. But for some reason, the pastel is not going not showing up very well. So I'm switching to the cotton, the makeup pad, and see if I can have more pigment. And one thing when you pay attention to is you can see the soft pastel change the color a little bit, tint the black background, but it's not actually tint the white. So we can take off the Prismacolor and the Polychromos on top of the Posca, on top of the Derwent Inktense, work great. So now for the gel pen. Now for the first video I made, the gel pen didn't work really nice. It scratched off straight away. But let's see if it's on top of the Derwent Inktense, would it work nicely? And to show you how usually it works is I have a small circle here, and I just apply a normal pencil. Just a base is a normal pencil, and you apply like just a gel pen on top. And I will show you how they different with the base color. So here, as you can see, I'm using the Prisma, and as you can see, I do really like as well, but the color not quite show as well. I do really like, and this is how my normal pressure would be, and this is like really light pressures, and it didn't really quite show, and it does scratch off a little bit. It scratched off more than the Posca when you're using Posca. And of course, I left the gel pen to dry like 30 minutes as well. So they have the same drying time. Now for the Polychromos, it behaves the same. And is also scratched off. As you can see, a lot of the white bits start to falling out. So they're not quite like sticking to the background that much. And again, this is how my normal pressure would be, and I go really light. I really light-handed with when I apply the pencil. But however, when you're applying the soft pastel for the white gel pen, it works better than the Posca. Isn't that kind of amazing? I sort of like expect this result, because when I usually use soft pastel for background in my page, I noticed that if I apply the white gel pen first and then I go over with the soft pastel, usually the soft pastel will tint the gel pen. So I know that they tint quite well and they did better job than with the Posca. So if you would like this technique, you can use this as well. And the reason why I show you this is you don't have to use the pencil to cover the black line art. You can use the gel pen, cover the black line art first, and then go over the top with soft pastel. And it with like a similar like the when you use the pencil, and it worked nicely. And you can see here with the normal pencil base, it just it's not working. Now for the side that the base is the watercolor pencil, I use the Durer, and again you can see with the Posca, the Prismacolor go on top really nicely, and you can get a decent color coverage. And also the same with the Polychromos. So it doesn't matter if you use the Prismacolor or the Polychromos, doesn't matter if it's an oil base or it's a wax base, it works just great. And it makes me spark equations because I come up with this idea because the other day when I did a Inktense colors, and I noticed that when I apply the Posca and the white gel pen on top of the Inktense, and afterward I think it worked quite well. It didn't scratch off the layer of the Posca and the gel pen. So I'm like, oh, maybe I can use this technique to cover the line art. And as you can see, the soft pastel, it does work. Afterward that I found out it does work with a lightly darker tone. So if you're going to use a really light color like at the start we do, it's not going to work with the Posca. But if you use like a medium color, then it does work. It does work quite nice. Now for the gel pen is behave the same as well. So it doesn't matter the light, the base color is watercolor pencil or the Derwent Inktense. I think the key here is you use a base that activate with water. So I think because the gel pen and the Posca is all water soluble, so when you apply it on a water base it stick together. I think it stick together better than when you just apply the gel pen or the Posca and cover the line art itself. And at the moment you won't understand why I'm doing all this, but I will show you at the end how you apply this technique for your page, and you will surprise how easy it is. And you don't have to like get used to the brush to apply the gouache, and it's a lot easier, it's quicker, and you can get a lot of precisions with, because we're using pen, we used to use pen better than the brush. Like everyone can use a pen, but not everybody can use a brush, like they're not great at it. So I think that's make it more intimidating when you try out the technique that I did for the first video. But with this one you can do. Now you can see these diamond, you can see I did it with different technique like how I demonstrate earlier for you, and you can see some of them they look like really painting look. Some of them is you can sort of see a little bit where I sort of like applying the gel pen or the Posca on top and applying the color. It shows a little bit, but overall you can see it look really nice and it look great, and it's so easy. here is the wings. I did the same technique, but this one instead of using pencil, I did with the soft pastel. Like I'm using the soft pastel technique, and you can see it covered the lights really nice as well. And you can use the technique to make like a iridescent wings, like translucent wing, and it's quite easy. Everybody can use soft pastel, and so it's really easy. You just rub on the colors that, you know, similar to when you use the pencil. So here I show you how you can do. So you can use the base color. I like the Derwent Inktense better than the watercolor, so I'm going to use the Derwent Inktense. Now here is the blue one. I'm going to do this diamond. So as you can see, I want to do the diamond in blue, so I'm going to use the base is the light blue color, but I would highly recommend that everybody go by one white Derwent Inktense. You don't need any other color, you just need the white pencil, okay? And you can see when you colors in, applying a light of the white down, and once you apply, while you're applying the color down, make sure you go over all the line art, as you can see here. And doesn't matter if you go over outside a little bit. That's why I like the white color better, because even if you go outside the light a little bit, you won't see it. But if you go with color, of course you can see it. And then you activate using the water brush. I just activate it, and it doesn't matter if you have to press the pencil. You just applying normal, like, you know, when you use Derwent Inktense, however you use it, just do it the same, so you don't have to apply more brushes or lighter brushes or anything. And so that's one is the white. Here I'm going to use the blue for this diamond here, and you can see I also try to go over all the lights as well, but the outside edge, the edge will be a little bit harder because you don't want any blue go outside of the line art. So I mean, it does work if you have the same base color, but I think the white one is better. And plus, if you want if you're going to use different color, then you need like a lot more other colors, right? But if you use the white, then you just need one white. And as you can see, if you think the color is too dark, you can just while it's still wet, dab it off with the tissue paper. And here, let them dry. You have to let them dry, but don't let it too dry. Now I'm going to use the Posca. I like the Posca technique more than the gel pen, so I would highly recommend you get, if you like this technique, get one Derwent Inktense in white color and one Posca, the small size, the 0.7 millimeter. I'm going to leave all the material that I use in this video in the description box, so you can have a look. And I'm going to do two techniques for you. One is you apply the white gel pen first. You can see here I'm applying before I colors in. And the other technique is you apply the white gel pen after you colors in. And I'm going to colors in the diamond as well, and I will show you the color that I'm used to for this one. So for the light color, I'm going to use the light cobalt turquoise. I'm using the Polychromos pencil because I like it, but you can use the Prismacolor. I'm sure there's color similar to this color that I'm using. It's just a punch of blue, and just pick randomly some of the area, the section that's going to be light color and some going to be dark. So after you have the light cobalt turquoise down, I'm going in with a white colors. So I would like to use the white from the Prismacolor because it's, for some reason, it just works better showing the white on top of the Derwent Inktense than the Polychromos. And I'm going just to blend out some of the section, plus blend out the section that you can see earlier that I add the light cobalt turquoise. Now I'm going in with the phthalo blue, which is like a medium blue, and again just pick out some area to put down, some section to put down. You don't have to do all of them like next to each other. Try to put them like spice them evenly, not doesn't necessarily evenly, but like just spice them randomly so it look a lot nicer. It look like there is different light go through the diamond. Now I'm going in with the dark colors, which is a dark indigo, and I'm mostly sort of concentrated around the edges. And then after that, I'm going to use an indanthrene blue, and I'm going to, this is like a sort of like a between the medium and the dark blue. So it's dark, but it's not just quite dark as the indigo blue earlier. So I'm going to apply this color in some of the area as well. And now you have that. I'm going to adding in the cobalt turquoise. And then I'll just reuse the white to adding in some area. Mostly I adding in at the bottom of all the sections so it look nice and light. Now I'm going in with the prussian blue, and I use it for the dark color where we applied the indanthrene blue earlier. And then I'm going in back in with the indanthrene blue, and then I'm using that color to adding in the shadow for where we adding the I think it's a prussian blue. And then I'm going in with the dark indigo, and I just adding in some shadow for some sections. So we have like gradient for each section, and each sections it have its own grade, its own colors. Like some of the colors is a lighter combinations than other sections. Now I'm going in with the Posca Pen, and I'm going to cover all the lines now. So for this diamond here, we have the line cover after the coloring, and for the other diamond is applied before the coloring. And after that I let it dry, and while I'm let it dry, I'm going to do colors in the other diamond. And one thing I forgot to mention is you don't have to worry that, oh, if I adding down the white base color, would that make the colors that I'm adding in later are not as opaque. It won't happen, because if you watch my other video about using Derwent Inktense, you would know that Derwent Inktense add a lot of tooth for the paper, and therefore it's not just, oh, you achieve the painting look by covering the line art. You also get great use out of it, because you don't have to press the pencil as much as well. So it would be easier on your hands. So don't worry about if your coloring will not look as opaque. It will still be, especially if it's some of the area that you decided not to use the white pencil, but you use like a like the same blue as I did for the first diamond, because the base color is similar color as what your object going to be. So it will enhance the color overall. But you can see now, once while I'm coloring in this diamond that we adding in the line at the white Posca at the start, you can tell the difference already. It looked like all the line was covered up pretty much, and I was really comfortable when I coloring this. I just have to be a little bit careful so you don't, when you color like next to the edges where you have the line art covering the black line art, then don't try to put pressure too much on top of it. But overall, I have a pleasant time coloring this. I don't have to worry too much about scratching off the white, the Posca, because I know some people have problem even when they use a Posca on top of the black line art, they still can able to scratch it up. And as here, go back to the first diamond, adding in the color for the line art. So the line art usually depends on how you like it. If you like it dark, that area, then by all means apply the dark color, but here I'm using the light color, so it make the diamond look shiny at the end. And you can tell the difference. One is you can sort of tell that, oh, the color show up, and the other one you can see all of it is immersed in each other. And now to bring back some of the light, I adding in a little bit of the white gel pen. And of course we're going to make a little bit of sparkle. So as you can see, two different techniques create two different look for you, but overall they look really great. And I hope you can try this technique out. I think is a step up from the first video that I did. I don't like a lot of people think like artists like to hide their technique, but I don't like to hide my technique. If I have like great technique, I would like to share with you all, because I want you all to happy and can try new different technique, and we can get excited about it together. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you try it out. If you like the video, don't forget to comment, subscribe, and like the video, and share with your coloring buddy, and I will see you in the next time. In the meantime, take care and happy coloring. Bye.